everybody. Welcome to Empowered Spirit Healing. I have very special guests with me today. I have Brice Watson, which you will know, and we have Alicia joining us again. How are you, Alicia?
Great, thank you.
That's good. And how are you, Jennifer?
I'm good, thanks. I'm so excited to be here. Chit-chatting
Me
with you ladies
too.
this morning.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how are you going, Brice?
I'm good. I'm excited. Things are amiss. Things are amiss in our world.
Yes, as
Let's
per
dive into
usual.
it.
So today we were planning on talking about Reiki, because that's something that all four of us have actually trained in. I mean, for various different reasons that we've all done it, but we're all familiar with it. And Alicia's been making some beautiful Reiki products, haven't you?
Have been, yes. I've got Reiki infused oils and just infusing all kinds of things and doing little Reiki of the days on my social medias.
Yeah, I've been loving your Instagram posts. They've been lovely. That's so good. And yeah, so we wanted to talk about energy. And as we were just discussing before we started to record, we've come up with, well, we've discovered that there's some very interesting things have been happening in terms of energy. So, Brice, I might let you kind of share what you've figured out.
Well, well, gather around, children, because this story is pretty salacious. I want to start off by saying allegedly. This is all of I think I can speak for all four of us. This is just our opinions
Mhm.
and our initial reactions to this. I have spoken about this over on Catherine Edwards' channel, so I'm going to back it up a little bit. If you have not seen Charlie Kirk's memorial service, which happened on September 21st, the solar eclipse, mind you. I would suggest maybe go look at it first so that you understand what we're talking about. I was out of town this weekend. We were up in the mountains. We did not get a lot of internet service, so I didn't know for a while until Monday that my reaction to this actually was the same as a lot of other people in my lives because I could not speak to people right away. We had gone on a very long hike that morning. We did a 10 miler, which is a 16-kilometer hike. Took us 2.5 hours going up a mountain. We just really wanted to exhaust ourselves and give our energy to nature. I know that sounds very well. We're talking about Reiki, right? We're talking about energy,
That's
right?
right.
And we know from my channel that Fusion Body Studio that part of being spiritual is allowing energy to run through your body in the form of exercise in order to heal yourself, to get that energy to flush. And so that's what we did. But needless to say, when we got back, we were really tired. We were covered in sweat. So my first reaction to this was like, maybe I'm just making too much of this because I've just done this emotional hike. Maybe I'm crazy. We got back to the hotel, could not get internet service, so we had the TV, and of course, on every news station was the Charlie Kirk Memorial, aka funeral. I say that loosely, because I assure you, for people who are not from America, that is not what funerals look like in America. Um,
No.
well, we can get into that later, but we turned the TV on. My boyfriend and I turned the TV on, and we turned it on right as Erika Kirk was walking up to the podium. And Todd, who's over on The Confused Wanderer, you guys know Todd, even though he's super woo-woo too, he's also very grounded and he's been awake for a very long time, and so he takes things with a grain of salt. He doesn't really jump to conclusions that quickly. So the fact that he reacted so viscerally as I did really spoke volumes to me. He was sitting on the hotel bed. We had just taken our showers. He had his white t-shirt on, and as I turned it on, I saw him grab his heart and he goes, "Turn it now. Turn it off now. This is black magic. Turn it off." I was having the same visceral reaction to Erika Kirk. When she walked up and she started doing that, we talked about the Jennifer. Jennifer can explain more about that, about when she looked like she was praying. I don't think that's what she was doing. Her eyes really freaked me out. And my immediate thought, and again, this is just my opinion, I could be wrong. My immediate reaction was Erika Kirk is an undergrounder, which we've talked about undergrounders. There are people who are basically trained to come up and infiltrate and remove people. Still trying to watch my words, even though we've gotten some good news about YouTube. I still want to watch my words a little bit because I'm still a little shell shocked when it comes to YouTube. But
Yeah.
I believe, as Jennifer had said, I think she was Charlie's handler, but I don't think Charlie knew that. I think that he really is gone. And I think, in my opinion, that Erika Kirk is part of the reason why he's gone. I think she was behind it. And I will just leave it at that. That was some black magic crap that we watched that was a ritual. That was not a funeral service. That was not a memorial. Only two people I saw that stood at the podium that I really felt like a funeral, and that was Tulsi Gabbard and Tucker Carlson. When they spoke, it felt more funeral-ish
Mm-hmm.
than anybody else. So that was and then I got off the mountain, I was telling you guys, and all of a sudden my phone was like blowing up with all these text messages from all people I do YouTube with to people who are my friends here in Atlanta. All these text messages going, WTF was that? What was that? And these are people who are not in our community, my friends in Atlanta. There's a lot of people in the yoga world. Like, so if I was like, okay, Todd, we were not the only people that were literally like, no, and no, visceral, no, this is not okay. And so I'm going to then pass it off to you ladies because energy doesn't lie, right?
No, that energy, I didn't even really want to watch it, but the few things that I did see from it, I couldn't keep it on for more than a few seconds. It was just unnatural. It was very unnatural, so uneasy, even just thinking about it. The look in her eyes, I don't know who the heck is going to act like that at their husband's funeral. It felt like a production, you're going to see like a Broadway show. What the heck? I don't know. I mean, I know I'm Irish. We celebrate death a little bit differently. You know, we'll celebrate your death at the life that and I remember being a little kid seeing that. And, and of course people would cry and they'd be upset, but it was everyone sharing good memories. And it was, I enjoyed that. So it was difficult, like seeing that. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And what did you think, Jennifer?
I was going to say, do you want me to go next? Because I have a fully loaded
Okay.
opinion here. So the whole atmosphere was very Scientology. So I want people to kind of make a mental note of that. There's also connections to Scientology with some of the people involved. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Scientology organized it, to be honest. Also, what we're all saying about Miss Kirk's demeanor. So if you pay attention when she walks up when she gets up on the stage and she gets up to that podium, she has her hands down by her waist and she's saying something. She's invoking energy. Now, what kind of energy? We can all speculate that. That's just my opinion. I'm familiar with, the occult's always fascinated me. I've studied it. I continue to study it. So I didn't fully watch that whole saga all day, but I would peep in every couple hours because I can't believe it lasted that long. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
But when she came out on stage, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch this because I want to dissect this. So those were the things I noticed and more. I'm going to keep it light now. But so that's a potential other thing that could have occurred, which could be the reaction of why people are like, whoa, something's really wrong here. That's our spirit, that's our soul, that's our higher self, however you want to look at it, pushing back, saying, pay attention, something's off here.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's fascinating. I actually haven't watched it yet because
Well, now you're going to have a different eye when you do.
yeah, well, I mean, we're at the end of the term at the moment for school, and we're about to go on 2 weeks break, and the last few days this week's just been chaos with running around doing stuff, and so I haven't even really had the chance to watch much stuff at all. But yeah, I just find that very, very fascinating, especially about the Scientology connections as well. Like I didn't really realize about all of that. I just think that's very fascinating. And then you also mentioned, Jennifer, about a movie that predicted.
There was a movie in the late 90s called Snake Eyes.
Mhm.
And it's about, I believe, now here we got Nikki Cage here. Got Nikki Cage. You can see the symbol here. Yep. And it's about a takeout of a gentleman, and I think his name is Charlie Kirkman or Charlie Kirk something.
I'm gonna just pull this article up. Keep talking because they actually
Oh, here we go.
coined
Here
it.
we go.
It's suddenly trending, the movie.
Yes. Yes.
Several
There
eerie
we go.
similarities.
Yeah. Oh, it was also on September 10th. Holy mackerel. I
Oh,
mean,
Wow.
you just like it's crazy, isn't it? The
it's
way
it's
that it's all just it's like it's just not coincidence. I don't
it's
believe in
it's just
coincidence.
yeah, Kirkland, and he was the
Ah,
Secretary of Defense. So his name was Charles Kirkland.
Also, the same thing in the side of the neck. Wow.
Oh, I mean, yeah, because I did, yeah. Yep.
Here
Those
we
are
go.
all wow.
Oops, shoot. Sorry. It took us to.
Oh no, they're but I
Let me get to
think
the page.
so there's been some mention about witchcraft and Etsy, which I think is really interesting because it's kind of
yes.
like another pointing fingers somewhere else. So let's all keep that in mind. But in that movie, I think it's a Jezebel woman. They're calling her Jezebel, and they're referring this Charlie Kirk thing to be a Jezebel Etsy witchy group or something.
Hmm.
I haven't went too far deep into that. Candace Owens did mention that when I caught a clip of her. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's also interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm speechless right now because
I know we're all kind of quiet. I haven't read
I'm,
this. I did
I'm
see
skimming it
like a
as you're
YouTube.
talking, and it's fucking unbelievable. I mean, I think we know that this happens. They do this stuff, but
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about a
why?
lot of movies. Oh, I wanted to share something with you girls too, though. One thing nobody's talking about with a similar, well, I guess maybe it's because it wasn't my thing, was the assassination of John Lennon. I was 5 years old when John Lennon was shot, and I think it was December of 1980. And that when that first was initial reaction, I was like, well, what are they up to? But then I also had that urge of that sorrow feeling hit me. So we're back to energy talk now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it's like what's going on behind the scenes where they can push out that much empathetic sorrow across the mass population of us all.
yeah.
So when that happened to me, I went to my 5 year old self of when John Lennon was taken care of by Mark David Chapman, I think. And I remember asking my mom, Mom, why would someone go up and do that to somebody? Like I was so confused as a child. And then I became angry. I became angry at the mass psychological BS and the trauma they're throwing at the human population
Yeah.
with it. And I just thought they're not getting my energy. So then I balled up. I threw my ball out. No energy can come in. Only my energy can stay here.
Mhm.
And so I tried to protect my energy as much as I could. But I also think I imploded it a little bit because I didn't release that anger properly. So then I felt like crap, which would have been the Friday morning we were going to film last time because we're on like a reschedule here.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that with you ladies as well. But I did shut off the television and everything like Thursday, and I was outside at my parents' farm all day. I didn't
Mhm.
turn anything on. But I was infuriated and angry at the mass trauma they caused humanity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I stood with that.
Well, it makes me wonder too, because we are now hearing from doctors that actually that he was gone. Like there was no, like the minute it hit him, like he was gone. Like there was no, for a while they were like, there's still a pulse. There's still like doctors like, no, he instantly, he felt no, he was just talking 1 minute and the next minute for his perspective, he was on the other side.
Right.
Right. But then I started because as you're saying that, Jennifer, I'm kind of getting the chills because after it happened and people thought there was still a chance, what
Mm.
were they calling on people to do? Pray.
Pray. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if they knew that it was gone, he was a goner, what were they harnessing those prayers for?
Mm.
What was that energy of prayer being used for? I'm
That's what I
concerned
mean.
now.
It's like you know, because I think I'm just going to call her Miss Erica. All right.
It's
Miss
Erica.
Erica,
Snake Eyes, we'll call her Snake
in my
Eyes.
opinion, from what I've kind of studied in the symbolism and what I'm decoding, she's initiating up into a pretty high arc of the occult.
She's a priestess. Like, let's just
Yes,
be
she's a high priestess.
a
So it's
priestess.
like,
Yeah.
is she into so you know what my vibe was? I'm like, is she weather witching? But it's like you've got these priestesses that are literally inverting energy, harnessing it and shoving it back. Because that's possible. Very
That
possible.
whole when she stepped out and did that thing, and I was like, at first I thought, oh, this is an act. Like she's doing the prayer and for as an act because that's just weird. Like, why would you? I always remember when I was in Sunday school. Like, I remember one of the stories I used to talk about in Sunday school all the time about how Jesus always said that people who pray in public are not to be trusted. That is not. It's the private prayer that is considered the holy prayer. And so when she did that, I'm like, is she? But then I've had that visceral, like, no feeling. She was invoking a spell before she
Yep.
stepped up to that podium.
Because
The
that
way that
wasn't,
her
yeah.
hands, and I will show, I pulled some pictures up, and Catherine and I spoke about this before we went on air. So I'm going to like give a little bit of a disclaimer here.
Mhm.
Now, there is a hand signal that is alleged to be used by Aluma Shamani people. Oh, why does it do this? Hold on one second, guys. Sorry, it keeps clicking me to other articles. Maybe it's Erica not wanting us to show this.
Miss
And
Erica.
it's Miss Erica, girl, honey. You might be a priestess, but look who you're talking to. All four of us can probably
I was gonna
out.
say, I bring it. I'm not afraid of nothing with that when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Well, she did the whole devil horns hand signal.
I love
Now I'm trying
you.
to find the picture. Yeah, that's I love you in sign language. So, yes, could she have been trained to do I love you in sign language? Possibly. Here it is.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So one thing I want you guys, if you go back and rewatch that, I want you to kind of pay attention to Trump's body language, and I want to see. I'm going to try to start to decoding Trump's lips. I don't know what he's telling her, but he's encouraging her to do that. He's encouraging her to do something because that is part of the initiation. Because I'm assuming he was highly echeloned as well. I think that's why a lot of the cabinet was there, is because they've all moved up into their brotherhood. But yeah, so I don't know if he has her codes for programming, if there was some MK. These are my like cliff notes right now. I don't think any of this really much, but I'm wondering if there's some MK Ultra involved, that kind of stuff. I'm kind of looking into it that way as well.
Wow.
So,
This is
because she knew
hysterical.
him, because
Somebody,
she was
Yeah,
Miss
she knew him.
America, or
I was just
I'm
gonna
sorry,
say
she
there
was
was
Miss Arizona like in 2012. So she was part of the Trump thing when Trump was owned the Miss whatever they were pageants. So she's
Right.
connected to Trump back way back as well.
I
Interesting.
love this thing this guy wrote. I can't see it close. My eyes are too. But it says this is one of the most Hunger Game capital ass dystopian things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
People,
I
I mean,
agree.
there's a lot of people that are saying something's very off here.
Yeah, and I'd like
It's
to see what you ladies think about the fact that she gave that speech saying that she forgives the FBI. What do you? Oh, there's my dog barking. Shh. Um,
Well, she forgives the TYLER kid because he didn't do it. I mean,
just because
well,
I forgive Tyler. I forgive him. That's the kid she was forgiving. And of course, people are like, that's the most Christian thing ever. Is it? Like, I
mm,
just I've watched Dr. Romney talk about this a lot. Like,
okay. Yeah.
forgiveness
that was
is you
fake.
don't have to forgive.
Mhm.
You don't have to forgive people in order to be at peace with something, right? To make people feel like they have to forgive can be an initiation of abuse,
Right.
further abuse,
Well, it puts
right?
pressure on the healing process, doesn't it? Because you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, well, I can't move on from this until I've forgiven. Where it's kind of like, well, you might not be able to change things, but you can forgive if you want to and when you want to, not that you have to in order to heal and move forward.
I would be interested too to see what you come up with Trump, Jennifer, because I've also heard from people that they felt like he seemed very uncomfortable a lot of body language readers said he seemed extremely uncomfortable. So I'd be interested to see what you find with that because
I want to
I'm
watch.
still,
I plan on watching him a little more because I've kind of been watching her, and I only can watch them attentively one at a time,
right,
and then I get
right.
sick of looking at them, so I have to put it
Yeah.
away. I'm like,
All these
fuck you,
freaking
people.
crocodile. That is as crocodile tears as you
I
get.
know. And the one right underneath it, look at her eyes.
I mean, her eyes.
Oh my gosh.
And the
I'm
one next
sorry.
to it, her eyes are so.
There's some like also these people that are pulling up these videos that this dude, excuse me, I shouldn't use that term when we're videoing, but this guy predicted her, like predicted a woman with light eyes rising. Have you guys seen that? I saw it, like once, like a couple days ago,
Oh,
and I'm
the
like, oh my
guy
goodness,
is
these
the
prophets.
Australian prophet. I'm very dubious of him. He's not alive
I'm
anymore.
dubious of all of them. I mean,
I just this is my okay. I'm gonna say something, and I've said this with Catherine. I think you girls know what I'm meaning by this. I want to first of all, I want to caveat here. God and religion are not the same thing. So I just want to make that very clear. When I say this, I'm not talking about God. I feel like the NWO, the Illuminati, the establishment really messed up with the extreme left. People aren't buying it anymore.
Mhm.
I feel like they've got their entrance now with the extreme right. I think the NWO is now using the extreme right to implement its order, and they're going to use it through Christianity.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I said that
they're
the
Because
other
that's
day.
become very
all,
popular all of a sudden. And
yeah,
especially
it's,
Roman Catholic has become,
yes.
apparently there's this huge increase in people becoming Roman Catholics.
Now, see, what's interesting is that I've heard that mentioned, but in my area, it's declining. So I think it depends on the
I wonder
area.
if
I
they're
think there's,
putting it out there.
and we have to be careful with these influencers saying,
Yeah.
oh, everybody wants to be a Catholic or everybody wants to be this because, and even with this, the turning point, I mean, they're like, okay, we have captivated these college kids to go after Jesus.
Yeah. Because
They're getting
when
the youth.
I will say with Charlie, one thing because I went back and watched a bunch of his videos. There's one thing I didn't, some of his more conservative beliefs I didn't agree with him on. But I watched many, many videos where he said, my faith dictates this. However, we don't live in a theocracy. So I
Mhm.
think even Charlie understood that if we have to be careful about how we vote because we do not we I'm sorry, Christians, we don't want to live in a theocracy. Did you see what happened to Persia? Go look up Persia. That's now what? Iran, Iraq, that whole area. It used to be one of the most beautiful, fertile
Yeah.
countries in our world. Like in my parents' generation, the women were liberated and all of a sudden they have a theocracy and look what's going on. We do not want a theocracy. Religion is nothing but man's opinion on God. That's all it is. And I think what's happening too, so Charlie was really knowledgeable about that, about separating church and state. My mother, who is a big Christian, she was always church and state have to be separate. The church and state have to be separate. I always respected my mom. I never knew that the Republican Party was the more religious party because my mother, as a Republican, always said she voted with her pocketbook and that the church and state have to be separate. She was very much like, absolutely not. We preserve people's right to have a religion, but we don't want to implement that religion in our government. And I'm seeing so many people trying to rewrite American history.
Mm.
You guys, go back and read the Constitution, read the Declaration of Independence. Our founding fathers did not establish America as a Christian country. That is a lie. That is misinformation. Why would we have it in our very right there at the top? Very top. You don't have to look that far. It's right there at the top. Freedom of religion. Why would they establish this as a Christian nation but give us freedom of religion? Dummies. In the Declaration of Independence, they call it a creator. They don't call it the Abrahamic God because most religions have a creator. So they're bidding a blanket term.
That's very
And
smart.
basically, all that's saying is you have certain rights given to you, unalienable rights given to you by your creator. All that's saying in that sentence could also mean nature.
Yeah.
That you as a human being are promised life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not by the government, but by nature, God, whatever you believe in, that there are things in this world bigger than the government. That's all that meant. Now, I want our American friends to also remember, if our American history is correct, because this really peeves me off. Um, if you're a white American and your ancestors have been here for a couple hundred years, if our history that they taught us is correct, that's a discussion for a different day. Why did most white Americans, Europeans come to this new world? Religious freedom. In Europe, they were burning people at the stake, chopping heads off just for the Protestant Reformation. Same Jesus. So a lot of people fled to this new world in order to get away from that. So our founding fathers were like, yeah, we're not going to have let that happen here. You believe what you believe. You do you, boo. Whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, great. Great. That's it. So no, we are not a Christian nation. And I beg our audience who believes that to go back and study history. And what gets me, ladies, and I know I'm sound like a broken record, and maybe it's just my frustration being on YouTube for 5 years and doing all this research. I feel like I'm missing something because we know that all these other factions of our world have been corrupted and inverted, but yet the biggest religion hasn't. Am I missing something?
That's what I was thinking. Is like, I wish humanity, I think maybe that's one of our biggest challenges is to break the mind control from religion
Yeah, it's so
It's going to be the
strong.
biggest one.
and have our own. I mean, I do believe in a creator and a God, and I don't need to go somewhere and put money in a basket every Sunday for somebody to tell me that or
Yeah.
to develop a relationship with that. I'm a good person. I do kind things to people. I look out for people. I try to be the best I can be, and that's what we all should be doing, you know?
Well, that's more Jesus-like than going around judging everybody and criticizing them and leaving nasty comments, like on Bryce's channel, for example.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just blows me away. I really struggle with how judgmental they can be. I've got no problem with people that want to be Christians or Roman
Right.
Catholic or whatever religion they want to be. I've got no problem with that at all. But it's when people start thinking that that's the only way, I'm very uncomfortable with the term that the only way to heaven is through Jesus. I don't even
He's
know if
never
I
said that.
believe in a heaven
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know if I believe in a hell either. But I just find it very fascinating how people can just become so nasty and dogmatic and defensive about it. And that just rings alarm bells to me because for me, what I've learned through healing, and I know you say the same thing, Brice, and you ladies agree that like when we're triggered by something, that is a clue that there's something there that we need to heal. Because if it's triggering us, that's our problem. It's not somebody else's problem or their fault. It's triggering us for a reason. We need to go into that, look into that, and do some healing work around that. And I just find that certain religious people can become very, very triggered by certain things that you say and become very defensive. And it blows me away. And like my dad, we grew up going to Presbyterian church. I was christened as a baby as Presbyterian. My dad still goes. He's the only one in our family that does still attend church. And it amazes me because he'll listen to all kinds of conspiracy stuff. He'll talk about, he's pretty open-minded to all of that kind of stuff. But when you mention the Bible and that the fact that it could possibly be corrupt, no, he shuts down immediately. And it just amazes me that like he can be so open-minded to other things, but when it comes to that one book, it's like, no, that's it. It's the word of God, and it's never been messed with, and it
There's
just amazes
there's
me.
irrefutable evidence, like factual evidence. I mean, since the 1700s, it's been changed over 50 times since the 1700s.
Yeah, it blows me away. And my dad's even open to the Book of Enoch now. Like he's bought the Book of Enoch, and he's even open to reading that and learning more about that kind of stuff. But he's still just so set. It'll be interesting to see over the next few years if he starts to differ a little bit. But also, I find it very fascinating, ladies, that I can't remember who said it. I can't remember if it was Tamara or somebody else that I'd listened to, but they were just saying that, this was going to be a huge, I think it was Tamara, but it's a huge year of exposure. So much exposure is going to happen this year in our own personal lives as well as the world. And I just feel like I have just noticed that so much. I mean, we're nearing the end of September. I'm blown away. I mean, Brice and I started working together this time last year. I can't believe it's been a whole year already. And I'm blown away by how much has happened, how much has been exposed, all over the world and with ourselves it's like as well. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Well, I think we're seeing more now the divide between, with even with this whole Charlie Kirk thing, what you're saying, I've realized it's something I said off camera in my 5 years, in my issues, I realized that you got two people in the world. You got people who actually believe in God, and then
Hmm.
people who believe in a system. And the two are not the same. So people who like really in their knowing like have that believer in a creator and that belief and that they can rest in that, they don't care. It's not they're not bothered by the fact that their religion gets challenged
Yeah.
because it's the dogma that's being challenged, not God. But when people only believe in the system and the system is their comfort, when you start to take that away, that's when they show their truth belief that it's not, they don't believe. So all these Christians that freak out, they don't actually believe in God. They
Mhm.
believe in a system. And
See,
that
and
system connects.
And like you say with Charlie Kirk and the way that he would react with different people who had different religious beliefs or different beliefs about being gay or transgender or anything like that, or different races and stuff. And he just was like, this is my religion and this is what I believe. But he didn't judge people for that,
And he
and
didn't
that's
believe that
so
it
you
should be
can.
implicated into the law, which is where I think with energy wise, I guess I can also take us back because you guys, when we look at people who desperately believe in a system versus holding that energy in for themselves, we're
Uh-huh.
looking at a very unstable person. And it is wild that the way they've been able to brainwash Christians to me is even worse than like Islamic faiths and Hindu faiths. Like it's worse for me. I feel like it's worse because you have people saying, well, the Bible is the word of God. And you say, well, how do you know? How do you know that? Where's your proof behind that? And they get mad.
Yeah.
And their proof is because it's in the Bible. I'm like, that's not proof. Like, and it's like
Anybody
you
could
believe
have written
it's
that.
exactly you believe it's the word of God because somebody has told you that over and over and over again in a ritualistic fashion.
And may I say something? So all these little Bible, gosh, I feel terrible. All these, we'll say these prophets out there, and they follow the word of the Lord, and they got their Bible and they're prophesizing and whatever. And it blows my mind that people of the, we'll say Christian style faith will watch these people and believe in them, but then you'll have like a tarot card reader or a channeler, and they're the devil. And I'm like, but you don't know who that your little Bible guy's channeling either. We
Exactly.
do not we
Same
do not
thing.
understand the energetic forces and the energetic fields that surround us and what we're tapping into. And I understand when people will come out and say, oh, channelers are evil. They don't, I get that because they could be channeling a negative force. And when we don't have those teachings under our belt, we are so vulnerable. All of these people, they're vulnerable. What they're saying is vulnerability, causing it for others and keeping that brainwash going. So humanity, our minds have been manipulated so heavily. And I just try to unweave because we're all under this MK Ultra crap all the time with different things. And God, I went into the store the other day and everything was just jumping off at the shelf at me. It looked so good and it was so cute and folly and all this MK Ultra to consume and things like that. But so yeah, I think I don't know how humanity's going to break the mind control. I guess we have to do it for ourselves.
I don't know if you can. You have to do it for yourselves. And I think that's, if
Yeah.
you're going to follow a system, you're going, and that's why I love the law of one so much, because what you're saying,
Yes.
it gives you a template to ask yourself certain questions of self-reflection. Like wishful thinking is service to self. So people who think a med bed are coming, they're investing in this med bed or investing in Nasara. They are in wishful thinking, which is service to self because you're still relying on a system to save you. People who are following a religion without any type of critical thinking, that's service to self. And so we're seeing that big divide between service to others and service to self. And we know, that we're coming in. Todd just did a video about this, about when you move into fourth density, it's not like anybody's judging you. It's just vibrationally where you just go. And so if you like to be in a system, if you like being told what to believe, if you can't have independent thought, if you need to rely on somebody else to give you a med bed or give you, then that's going to put you into service of self, because that's what you're telling the universe. But when you're taking responsibility for yourself, questioning everything, being aware that even in questioning things that you're still going to be missing stuff, and you're constantly working on that self-reflection, then you're telling the universe, you're not leaving nasty comments on people's YouTube channels simply because they tell you that the Bible's been edited over 50 times. If you're not doing that, that's a very selfish thing to do, is to leave a name calling comment when someone's literally showing you evidence, right? That's very selfish. But when you're serving others, it's and we also have this wishful thinking. I just went back and forth with a person on one of my channels because she believes this, I think it's a she, believes that the Cathars had this secret to living 900 years, which my study is like, we're never supposed to live that long anyway, because the Cathars actually believe, let's talk about the Cathars theology, because I
Yeah.
studied this.
Brush me up on that, because it's been a while since I've studied those guys.
The Cathars believe that our world, the natural world we live in, was created by a lesser evil or God. So they believed in multiple gods, first of all, the Cathars. Okay? They believed in multiple gods, right? You can call that multiple lesser gods, multiple energy cycles. There's a lot of the Cathars that I agree with. Some I don't. I don't think our world was created in a negative way. I think this is just a game we're all playing, and that's my law of one yoga coming through, that I think that we're supposed to be in friction.
Yeah,
And so the Cathars, the Cathars, they believed that they were stuck in a prison on this planet. This planet was created by an evil lesser god, and that their job was to not be a part of this world. So they lived separate from society. They did not get married. They did not have children. And their job was to get through with this life as quickly as possible to go back home.
Wow.
Now, they weren't committing like mass unalivings of themselves. They lived their natural lives. So if you understand this about Cathar theology, you would understand that them having some secret sauce about trying to live 900 years is completely opposite. They wouldn't want to extend their life because they don't believe that this natural place, this place of earth, is for good. They believed it was created by evil. So they don't want to stay here any longer. And I think what's happening is people are so afraid. Like Todd just did a video over the veil. When we come into third density, we have a veil dropped over our consciousness. That's on purpose, because we need that friction. We need to feel that illusion of separateness from God in order to find things about ourselves. It reminds me of Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I know there's very weird things around Paulo Coelho, but the book is good. This Spanish kid farmer over in Spain decides that he's got treasure. He's this poor farmer kid over in Egypt. Egypt, over where they tell us Egypt is. Again, that's a topic for a different day. So he crosses the Mediterranean, he goes into Morocco, and he's going to cross the Sahara Desert to get to Egypt to find his personal treasure. So he embarks on this journey. The whole book, he's going through all of these trials and tribulations. He's learning how to do alchemy, all this stuff. He finally gets to Egypt. And when he gets to the base of the pyramids, he has this prativa, as we say in Sanskrit, a flash of illumination, where he realizes his personal treasure was never in Egypt. It was always back at home in Spain. And he gets mad at God. And he's like, at the end of the book, he's like, did you know, God? Did you know that I just went through all of this and my personal treasure was back at home? Did you know, God? And God goes, of course I know. He's like, well, why? Why did you send me on this mission to go? And God goes, well, aren't the pyramids beautiful? So we go through this journey of now I use it as an example because that's a metaphor of what we seek is inside of us. And we go on this journey of feeling this veil of being separate from God, where we go and try all these different things and we experiment and we feel lost and alone and we try to figure out until we come back home, back into that realization that we're not separate from God, right? And so when we see people try to push this narrative that we're going to have, well, first of all, looking for immortality, that's way demonic. Like that is 100% service to self.
Who
I
would
think
want to live? Sorry to interrupt. I
right?
just got to say, who would want to be here 900 years in this mess?
Are you
Oh,
fucking? I mean,
I
yeah,
mean, look,
absolutely.
obviously, like I would like to extend my life more, not so much length, but I guess quality you know,
Quality.
that's why
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
exercise has
Quality.
become
Yeah. And
really highly important now, because I'm understanding that the stronger you are physically by doing things like weight training and strength training, you're going to have a better quality of life. And obviously I want to have that, you know, I think we all want that. But God, I mean, 900 years, not in this mess. It's just,
no. Well, and that's the thing. You want to be as young for as long as possible. Be as young, youthful for as long as possible. But at some point, the truly spiritual person is able to accept death when it comes. The
yeah,
truly spiritual person, Richard Freeman, a very famous yoga teacher, would say, your yoga practice really is preparing you for your own mortality, to let go when it's time to let go. When it's your
wow.
time to go, to leave your body, that you've done all this work, you've gone through all this friction, all this pain, all this breaking down of your body in your mind, examining your mind, that when that time comes for you to leave, you let go, you surrender and let go.
Wow.
Right. And so all these people who want to spend their life in the truther community, I'm like, you are literally slapping God across the face. Do you realize that? Like, you are literally saying you know better than God. And your soul, some people only have to be, and it's sad when we lose people really young. That's really sad for us. But in the bigger scheme of things, some souls only have to be here for 20 years to get the
Yeah.
lesson they need before they can go back home. And so we see this, we're seeing this belief in a system, this reaching outside of ourselves, wanting to live for 900 years, wanting these med beds, wanting this Nasara. We see it's reaching outside of ourselves for energy that's actually within us.
Mhm.
And that is bleeding. That's selfishly reaching for something outside of yourself to change the course of nature for your own selfish desires.
And
Whereas when we
well,
look at,
sorry to interrupt, Bryce, but that's my
oh,
problem with the whole belief that Jesus has to save you so that you can move on. I have really big problems with that. There you go. It triggers me. So there's obviously some work I got to do there.
Yeah. They're
But yeah,
constantly turning us away from ourselves.
yeah. Instead of going within, we're saying, Jesus, please forgive me because I'm this terrible sinner and I'm not worthy of you. I don't like it. It just doesn't feel very good. I feel like it's just I just don't like the idea of us having to go out there to find something when every spiritual teaching tells us we need to go within. The answers are within. And so
Jesus even said that himself.
yeah,
I was
He
gonna
says
say,
like,
didn't he teach
exactly.
that?
And so
yeah, he
I feel like it's a distraction when they're saying keep going to Jesus, keep going to Jesus. He's the only way. Um,
I mean,
but yeah, I'd
Jesus,
love
we're all on
to
it.
bring in some, Reiki energy loving healing and
I was
how,
going to ask our
yeah,
Reiki teachers. I know we've all done Reiki. I did Reiki a
yeah.
long time ago, training just to help me be a yoga teacher. I never had planned on using it. I don't use it. I just did it to understand moving energy better in the body. But that's what I was going to ask. So, what does it do for our audience? Because we have a really cool audience that I know we're preaching to the choir with our audience here. But
Mhm.
what does it do for our people who do practice Reiki on a regular basis? When the human mind, that's my question to you, ladies, when somebody is so eager to look for something outside of themselves to give them what they perceive they want versus somebody who wants to do it themselves, you guys go, when you do Reiki on people, what does the energy look like from a person who is constantly reaching for something outside of themselves, falling for junk conspiracy, following a system, giving their power away, soul smashing, as the Cassiopeians call it, versus someone who's willing to like self-reflect, willing to do you feel that the energy is different with these two types of people? And can you explain, does that make sense? Am I making sense? And
Mhm.
can you guys
Yeah, I
explain
think
like what that does to the psyche and the body when someone's so willing to give away their power?
Go ahead, Alicia.
Yeah.
so for me, I'm still really, really new with Reiki and giving Reiki to other people. Just June, I was able to give it out to other people. So really, there's only been a few select people who think a little bit on that other side. And I feel like as long as, because they were open to receiving the Reiki, there really wasn't a difference. I feel like once they're accepting, they consent to it, the Reiki just flows. It's just there. It's just so calming and just like you soak into the earth, so
Well,
to
maybe
speak.
people, when they're open to Reiki, that might be the crack of the door opening to having self-reflection.
Mhm.
Um, of questioning some of their beliefs in their mind. But what do you guys think bad, and Jennifer too, on it, like what did bad false beliefs you guys think do to the body and the psyche and the soul and the energy if someone carries a bad belief?
It clogs your energy cycles. It blocks you from it. If you've got, like, a lot of people are blocked in their heart chakra and their solar plexus, and that's those three. This torso block omits the or stops the flow of
Mhm.
people kind of getting, and then you get to people where sometimes you can't really work them upper chakras really well, which is kind of weird. Happens.
OPs?
Happens. But another thing I notice, if people are really, ignorance is bliss in a sense,
Mhm.
their auras are clogged up, like almost like a like a blob jelly gel energy.
Like
So I
molasses.
think it's, yeah, and it's like black blobby, and I just think, well, I don't know, and everybody's energy is so different. There's no energy centers or nothing the same,
Yeah.
but I do notice that a lot of auras get really compressed with all kinds of surrounding energies and remnants of energies and all
I
that.
feel like with me, like people don't really come to me if they're not open to it in the first place. They'll just kind of be like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird, that's a bit different, and I'm like, that's all good. Not for you, not for you, that's fine. But for me, because I did the Reiki first back in 2018, I did level one and then I did level two in 2021, I think. And then since doing the quantum healing, I kind of more see like entity attachments now. That's just kind of, I guess, what I've trained to kind of look for. So for me, I kind of feel like if people have got stuff going on, it'll be like a little black spot over here or a little black spot over there. And I kind of just have to peel them off, like on an energetic level. And then I kind of go through and clear out the chakras afterwards. Um, and sometimes in the auras fields, there'll be entities attached in there, or there'll just be different kind of yucky energy in there that just kind of has to be cleared out. And then once that different aura field, it could be any of the different levels, has been cleared out, then it's kind of just frees it up. But I kind of feel like, yeah, it's people that are open to that. If they're open to it, they'll come and see somebody who practices that, and then they're going to be more in tune, more willing to go there, more willing to look at what they're doing as well. And for a long time, I was very looking for someone to save me, someone to heal me. And I think because I spent so many years seeing my kinesiologist, and she kept reminding me, Paula, you're doing the work too. Like I'd be like, oh my God, thank you so much. You've helped me so much, and you've changed my life and all this stuff. And she'd be like, Paula, you've been doing the work too. Like, don't forget that. And she was right. And I was like, oh yeah, because I don't just go see her and then expect my world to just be perfect. I continuously work on myself. Do exercise, I do meditations, I read books, and I'm doing journaling, and I'm doing constantly learning and constantly working on myself. I can see your face, Jennifer. I was like, what do you want to add in?
I just had an epiphany, and I'm so sorry. I'm bringing it back down into a slower drive here. Back to Tucker. Let's go back to the whole thing. Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, no, go
Tucker
for it.
Carlson. I'm so sorry. He
No.
mentions meditation and tuning forks in his speech. Did you guys pick that up?
Oh,
I did
I'll
not.
have to
yeah.
go
I
back.
missed that.
Now we can go back to Paula with what you were saying. I just wanted to mention that because that just clicked in my head.
That's very interesting that he
Yeah,
added that in. I know, because
I'm
I'm
pretty
just
sure.
loving the solfeggio tones so much. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've started making some custom meditations for people. And I made one for Alicia. She's been my little guinea pig. And I've said to Brice and Jennifer as well, I'm happy to make one for you guys as well. Um, but yeah, and so Alicia's been enjoying it so far. I'll ask you about it in a second. Well, she shared a beautiful testimonial, which I've posted. But obviously, I made one for myself too, because I'm like, well, if I'm going to be making something and I'm going to be selling it and promoting it, I need to know that it works. And I just feel like it's really quite powerful, because I create a hypnotic script, and I'm creating it specifically for that person. Like obviously I have a template that I follow, and like the countdown and the count out and all of that's pretty much going to be the same for everyone. But in the middle, the affirmations, and I like to take people to their happy place. I think that's very important so that you can just relax, go to your happy place, wherever that is. Could be the beach, it could be somewhere made up, somewhere real. Mine's a little forest. And then once you've gone to your happy place, and I'm like, I'm going to talk to your subconscious mind. And then I like to encourage people to release. I love the violet flame, very passionate about the violet flame energy. And I like to invite people to release anything that's holding them back, like they would have told me in an email or whatever, this is what I want to cover. So I invite them to release that into the violet flame, because the violet flame will then transmute it into light, into love. So then we're doing something, because that's one thing my Kerry, remember Kerry that we chatted with, who taught me the quantum healing. She said it's very important that we're not just kind of getting rid of these negative entities or attachments that are attaching to us. They're not always nefarious. They're just, maybe it's just a bit of a lost soul, and it's just kind of attached onto us when we're feeling a bit down one day, and it's just kind of hung on there, but it kind of affects us and drains our energy. So it's important to remove it. But she said it's so important that we're not just removing it and leaving it out there. We've got to transmute it into light so that it's going into a positive place. And so that's why I like to bring the violet flame into my recordings, and then going through some affirmations. And then I tell people, really, to get the best results, you want to listen for 28 days to retrain the brain, at least 28 days. I mean, longer the better. It's going to retrain your brain. But what makes it even more powerful is putting in the binaural beats, because it's playing one frequency at one level in one ear, and then playing it at a slightly different. So you'll change it according to whether you want to go into theta, beta, et cetera, et cetera. But that just makes it even more powerful and helps you to relax more in the relaxation state. So you're more open to the positive suggestions. And then I like to add in 2 solfeggio tones that are going to complement what your personal needs are. And then I'll also add in an angel frequency, because I love the angels and I have to work with them. So I love to bring that in, and that combination is really quite powerful. And I feel like even I've been listening to my own one just only for a couple of weeks now, but already I'm noticing changes happening, because there's some things I'm letting go of. And I actually did a healing on myself yesterday, and this is going to sound really gross, but when I felt like there was this massive scab just on the whole of my back, and I literally just had to peel it off. And it was me letting go of a lot of my old self. I mean, it's weird what comes to your head when you're doing these healing sessions, but that's just what came to me. And I was just like, wow, I'm really shedding my old skin, basically. I'm shedding my old beliefs and letting them go. And, these things do take time. They're not going to happen overnight. You can't just listen to it once and then be like, wow, all your problems are solved. But it's just empowering to see the changes slowly unfolding over time. And it's really quite powerful. So, yeah. But, Alicia, you've been listening roughly for about a week or so now. Is that right?
Yes, I love it. I actually woke up this morning. I did a video from Fusion Body, and then I always do some Reiki on myself afterwards, and then I follow up with a nice meditation. So I did that when I was just laying on the yoga mat. I always fall asleep.
Yeah,
always,
I do too.
Always. By the time you get to the number, when you count down, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
And I'll start to see. I just get so relaxed. If I miss a day, I can almost tell.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I just really love it. It's been phenomenal. It's been great. I'm very appreciative of it.
Oh, I'm so glad.
You said something. Well, you said something, Paul, interesting about Carrie when she said bringing things to the light. Laruga, another yoga teacher, actually just said this too, because we are very anti the whole light and love thing, because that is actually a spiritual bypassing. But what Carrie was saying wasn't that. And Laruga said, if you stare in the light, you're gonna be blind.
Yeah.
If you stare in the light, you're gonna be blind. So a lot of people confuse spirituality of like ignoring the darkness just to think happy thoughts. That's toxic
Mhm.
positivity, right?
Yeah.
But you have to actually look, you have to bring the darkness into the
Mhm.
light
Yeah.
and look at it.
Yeah.
And that's what Terry was saying. And so I
That's
would
right.
challenge people who are always light and love, light and love, light and love. Darling, you're spiritual bypassing. And that's not what spirituality isn't about rainbows and unicorns. It's actually taking that darkness inside of you for
Yeah.
whatever reason, however it got there. I can blame, I mean, we think about the way our economy works. I'm actually working on a video right now about the Rothschilds, which is probably going to come out next week. I'm still working on it. And about the financial puppeting they've done and how
Mhm.
that causes people to stress. Like I think about all the extra weight I carry on me with all the shadow banning and how that has affected my finances big time. And I've never been made this little amount of money, but I keep, and how they do that and then affects your energy and affects your
Mhm.
self-worth. And so all these things start to come in. And Todd says this all the time. They're going to do what they're going to do. Like the bad guys are going to do what they're going to do. You have to, though, you have to not rise above it in the sense that you're ignoring it, but you have to
No.
lean into it
You have to
and
build yourself up.
use that as an opportunity to work on your self-worth, to work on, what it's pulling out. So I think a lot of times people sit around and they blame other people, but people are going to do what people are going to do. We're in a third density planet. This
Yeah.
is
It's not
what
going to
this is.
stop.
This is what this
Like, what
is.
are
It's
you
a
doing?
polarized. Yeah, it's going to happen. Like this polarity. You're going to have bad days. You're going
Mhm.
to have friction. That's just what life is here. But you have to it's up to you how you transmute that, and if you're so busy, light and love, light and love, light and love, la, 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 light and love, light and love, you're spiritually bypassing the work. And that, you know what, that all that's going to do, it's going to guarantee you're going to leave this life and you're going to get a round trip ticket back to come right back to it again.
Yeah, and even being in this life, you'll attract the same person again, or the same
Again,
boss, or the
again,
same
again.
job, or
Yeah.
whatever situation. You're going to keep attracting it worse until you get it. But yeah, sorry, Jennifer.
That's all right. We all have a lot to say. It's all interesting conversation. So I had an epiphany last week in this, and Brice, I want you to mention this to Todd when you have a chance too, but it goes back to the Cassiopean thing and the riding the wave. So I was driving home. I know here we're jumping topic, but I was driving home, and sometimes I'm in my most meditative state when I'm driving, right?
Yes, me too.
We are riding the wave every day. We
Yep.
are riding the wave. This isn't something that's coming. It's
It's
something we
here.
endure every day.
Mhm.
That's just my opinion. So I wanted to know what you thought about that.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's that Reiki, right? And I want you ladies, like we talk about, because what's happening in Reiki when you're working with energies is also the same thing that happens in exercise too. You're balancing the prana and the apana, this life force that's moving up. And some days that pranic energy is really forceful and you're feeling super energetic and you can do a 5 mile run and you're feeling so good. And the next day that aponic energy is really, and it's what's hard, I think, for me, and I'm sure other people, when that pranic energy is in an abundance and is really overworking, you feel so good and you feel so energetic, not realizing there's too much pranic and you need to pull it down. But when there is too much aponic, having that's easier to see, well, I need to actually get this energy to pull up to balance more. And I don't know if in Reiki you guys work with a prana and apana, the upward and downward. And of course, there's other diagonals as well, but we basically really just work on the up and the down and how this energy connects. Like I said on a previous video, your two nostrils, the left and the right, they have different names. I won't bore you with the names in Sanskrit, but the right is masculine, left is feminine energies. And different times of different days, one nostril is going to breathe stronger than the other, depending on the time of day. And
That
if you're,
fascinates the tar out of me. I loved
isn't
that
that
video when you went
fascinating?
into that. I thought, wow, how interesting. And that is so true because I started paying. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but
You're
yeah,
good.
it is so true. I've paid
And
attention to that.
so if you look at your different body type energetically, you could probably get a Reiki healer to help you with this. You'll figure out your natural rhythm of breathing depending on the energy cycle. So when you times the day when you need more of the alpha energy, the more masculine, even as a woman, like you got to go to work, you got to be, you need that power, but times you need to be more emotional. That's supposed to be, and that's different times of the day correlate with that. But also we look at these patternings because we have the Sushumna going up the spine and the Ida and the Pingala from the nose are running through But then also we look at the way it connects to different diagonally. So like when the right nostril is really clogged, you can do different exercises with the left armpit to unclog the nostril. And this is so simple. Like, and this, it deals with energy because the physical, any religion, most religions, most spiritual practices have one thing in common besides believing in a creator, that consciousness created matter. Matter did not create consciousness, the soul created this. So the physical body is a representation of the consciousness of matter. And so that's why there's a template of how to work the physical body by pulling up the energetic energy. Does that make sense? Like
Absolutely.
things like that to cross correct with different breathing, it's yeah, it's so fascinating. And so, do you guys find with Reiki, when we talk about Fusion Body Studio, you guys, and all that information will be down at which each of our channels, we all have different codes. So go down in the description box for the code. What do you find it easy to work on people who have an exercise program already when you do Reiki on them? Is their energy easier to work with?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
more clearer, slightly more clearer and kind of lighter. Yeah.
The aura isn't as thick, we'll say.
Mhm.
Chakras
So,
can still be, we all have messed up chakras. I mean, we go through a
yeah, that's
beating.
never going to
The minute
stop.
we
Yeah.
stop, the
Yeah.
minute we stop our balance, we're going through a beating. But the
Yeah.
auras aren't as clogged,
Yeah.
I find. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more an aura thing. What do you think, Alicia?
I find, well, again, I'm still really so new with it. I agree, yeah. Because doing Reiki on myself versus doing it on like my daughter who doesn't really, there is a difference, or even my other friends, there is a slight difference, yeah. I look forward to doing more Reiki on a wide variety of people. I want my focus to be more for hospice because I find death, like everyone gets so scared of death, and it is a sad thing. And when I was a CNA, I found like I took great care in taking care of my patient when they had passed on, like giving them that aftercare, taking care of their families. So I really want my focus in Reiki to be geared more to help people in that transition at the end of life, because everyone, just kind of, they get stuck in that sadness, and it is sad, and of course, but I want it to also be recognized as something beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
think it is.
That's beautiful because it is really a transitional part, and we're just so not. It's death is such a scary topic for so many, and they've made it such a scary topic. So I think that's awesome that you're
Yeah.
doing that.
That
Yeah.
veil, right? We don't know, we have that veil up. Ram Dass used to talk about that a lot, that the process of death should be just as celebrated as the process of life. You enter this
Absolutely.
world on an inhale, you exit this world on an exhale. And people who die of natural causes, Ram Dass said with his experience that they tend to do the same thing. They'll sit up and they'll take it three inhales and three exhales, and the third exhales when they leave. So and then that's so their body like knows to release um and move on. And that me being at peace with that. And we've gone through many deaths, ourselves in many lives we can't remember. And Todd even talks about that with the veil, that the reason why we don't remember our past lives is because we need a reset. Every life you need a reset. And that's why past life memory is not
Oh, it would
good
be
for.
very confusing if we had all
Oh,
that going
absolutely.
on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would be very confusing.
Not be
We need
able
that
to
reset.
decipher it all.
Yeah.
That'd be like losing your mind.
Yeah.
You go crazy. You go absolutely crazy. If
Well, I wonder
and
if that's what happens to some people who have certain mind, like schizophrenia and things like that. Maybe they are remembering
There's
different
so
lives.
That's an interesting, well, that would be a fascinating topic to dive into
Yeah.
someday because that also involves entities and outside forces
yeah,
manipulating the energy frequencies of the brain and all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
with
Mhm.
schizophrenia, there's so many different types of schizophrenia. My experience with my stalker, because she's schizophrenic, she and I believe 100% she's an OP. So I think some schizophrenics are organic portals, and so they don't
Yeah.
have the upper chakras to have discernment over what voices they're hearing. But I
Right.
think some other forms of schizophrenia can affect souled people too. And it's interesting because I wonder about like emotional trauma, like what
Yeah.
trauma brings people to a place of having schizophrenia, because just because you're hearing a voice talking to you does not mean that A, that voice is real, or B, that that voice is good. I find a lot, my big drawback with, because I don't believe, I actually just said that with the Rothschild video when I was working on before we did this. I don't actually believe in like prophets in the sense that there are people out there that can like prophesize about what we're going to experience as individuals. I think every single person has that ability to be their own prophet and to hear from God. And I think when we put so much power into somebody else's perception, then we are selling our souls. I think because even when you're getting messages from the divine, it's going through the lens of the translator, right? Like we are living in third density. There's just some things that our brain is not going to understand. Our soul knows it, but our brain doesn't because we're in third density, right? And so it has to be translated and things get lost in translation. And so I think sometimes with schizophrenics, like my stalker, literally believes that she is this divine being that's like half human, half alien, and she's like gonna rule the world, but she's so forceful in her beliefs that people follow her. And she's schizophrenic. Like she is clinically, she's been hospitalized many times before. And so I think a lot of that again comes from following a system. So schizophrenia is an interesting one, and there's so many
Wow.
different flavors of it. And I actually got stuck on a TikTok algorithm of schizophrenia when I was really looking into it and finding people on TikTok who are schizophrenic, um, that talk about it. And some of them are really funny about it. One girl owns a bakery, and she said that she is schizophrenic, and she walked in one day and there was like a cupcake just sitting on the floor, and she realizes that one of the customers that she served the night before actually wasn't real. She just couldn't remember which one. She just didn't know which one because the cupcake was just, she obviously had handed it to someone she thought, but there was no one there. And so some people are funny about it, and that stuff like that's harmless. But when we get into like stuff like I was dealing with my stalker, it gets really scary. And sometimes I wonder if sometimes these mass like pew-pewings, we'll say, aren't instigated by like things like schizophrenia. Because my stalker has threatened that before. She's waved one of these around on like social media. And I gave that over to the Sarasota police because I was like, I'm concerned that she's gonna go into a public place and start pew-pewing because the voices in her head are telling her to do that. So it's very interesting. Again, I think schizophrenia is something that affects both soul people and OPs, but I think OPs handle it differently. I think there is more ability to self-reflect with, I know schizophrenia is the only mental condition. And as much we talk about bad about like modern day medicine, as I'll say it, there are some modern day medicines that I think are actually viable or we need. Schizophrenia is one of them. It's the only delusional disorder where it cannot be it has to be treated by medication, like cannot be left to like talk therapy or more holistic means because it can be so dangerous for other people.
Wow.
So that's an interesting one with schizophrenia for sure, and the energy behind it and the frantic. Now, as Reiki, now we all started this because I wanted to remind our audience who might be new to this idea of energy, like for a lay person, a person who's just now starting to learn about this, we started this episode off talking about Erika Kirk and how we all have the same visceral reaction. So for my Reiki ladies, for our audience that doesn't is new to this, and they might have had the same visceral reaction, of course, we could see her doing things that were concerning, but the main thing we were feeling was the energy, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, that energy was dark.
Yes. Well, I'm
Okay.
yet to watch and feel the energy, but I will be taking note.
We'll see.
Oh,
Don't let any of us render what you think, Paula. Just go in there with an
yeah, it's
open,
just
clean
Uh-huh.
slated mind, not knowing anything we talked about here.
so for
Yeah.
new people who felt that too, like are they how can we they're feeling an energy, their body is picking up on the energy, the hairs on their arms are feeling the antenna of energy, right? And that's a form of like Reiki, like understanding energy, like your energy is feeling the energy of somebody else that you don't even know, but it's on TV and you that immediate
And you,
response.
yeah.
Like being able to walk into a room. I can walk into a room and feel if it's like, can feel if somebody's upset, or I'll do this all the time to my wife. I'm like, what's going on? I can feel the energy in the room. And she's like, nothing. And I'm like, well, I can feel it. And, now I just know she'll tell me when she wants to talk about it. But I've always been like that. Now I understand why.
But energy doesn't lie, right? Energy doesn't lie.
No.
And it's very natural to us. If we go back to, I think all of us are at an age where we went to a shopping mall and did any of you ever sit in the mall and kind of people watch a little bit? I mean, you sit in the mall and you people watch, but you're naturally just, you don't realize it, but you're reading energies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have to go, Alicia? I saw you might have to. I gotta go.
I do.
You had to go. Yeah, I have to go
I do.
too in a minute. So yeah, if you got to sign off,
I've
that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think we should do this again, ladies, because I know we're like at
Yes.
a little over an hour now, and I've got another show too. I would like to hear from our audience. I think we should circle back to this again and dive into more cases. Should we ask people to ask us questions in the comment section?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we can do
And
a part two.
and everyone, just keep an open mind that there's a lot of hidden things in our world. And if we're not aware of them, we don't know they're there.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep an open mind and listen to your gut.
Yeah, that's the right energy, right? It's not
Listen
this, it's this.
to your instinct.
It's this.
So.
This will get you in
And those
trouble.
goosebumps.
Yeah, well, the hair is an antenna of the nervous system. So when your hair stands on end, that's your nervous system saying danger, danger. Do not, we can get into a whole other topic about, is judgment really that bad when it comes to us, our own safety, like when we're feeling that energy off of someone. So,
I could talk
but
about
yeah,
some
we could do,
circumstances, yeah.
we could do even more on that, because I know I've got another video I got to hop on soon too, and I know Alicia has to go. But you guys let us know. Is there anything else we should say, Paula? I know you started off hosting, so to close this out, or
Yeah, no, would love to hear from everybody, see what they think, and even what they think about the memorial, and if they had an effect, if they felt that or not. Please share in the comments and let us know. And I think we should definitely try and do this again. Absolutely.
I'd love to.
everybody's links will be down in the description box of my video, guys. So if you want to book a session with any of these ladies, we didn't even talk about how energy can travel through a screen, obviously with Erika Kirk it did. But yeah, so I'm going to have everybody's contact down in the description box below for you guys if you want to book appointments with any of these ladies. So, and our
Thank you
Fusion
so
Body
much.
Studio.
Yes.
Our next class is, I meant to say that in the beginning, this Sunday, the 28th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be having a live class. We're going to talk about weight loss, what that means, anaerobic exercise versus aerobic, why you're not losing weight. We're going to talk about cortisol levels, all that kind of stuff. And so even for people who don't want to lose weight, this might be a good class to just understand the way the biomechanics of the body are working. Don't beat yourself up. There's usually a very easy solution as to why something's not working in your body. So anyway, you guys, join us if you can. All that information is down in the description box below.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.